Man, you just don't disrespect Stu Macher like that. Let's talk a little bit about it. Hey everybody, I'm Killjoy Jake, and if you didn't notice, I've lost a few pounds. If you're excited for Scream 7, then make sure to like this video and subscribe for more updates on upcoming horror flicks just like this. Also, the best way to support the page is by becoming a channel member or Patreon supporter, where you'll get bonus content. Patreon supporters exclusively get to see new trailer reaction videos. Thank you to everyone who keeps me in business. Now let's get into this review. We have a lot to talk about regarding Scream 7, including a new update from Scream News over on Twitter, who has said that McKenna Grace will sing in the upcoming film. Because if there's anything that this series needs to call back to, it's Derek's musical number in Scream 2. It's a scene so jarring that the cast wasn't even really sure why they were doing it in the first place. Let's hope that this one stays as a rumor and not much more. I also want to go back to that Skeet Ulrich interview that we covered in the previous Scream update just real quick, because a lot of Scream fans are going online saying that, wow, Scream 7 would have sucked if they kept the Carpenter sisters on board. I want to throw my 2 cents out there because I just don't think it's what a lot of people are making it out to be. Many fans are recognizing that Skeet Ulrich essentially confirmed that Melissa Barrera's Sam Carpenter would have gone Ghostface in Scream 7. The quote from him being, "It was a 3-picture arc for Billy Loomis to slowly turn his daughter into the killer." Many Scream fans, including a lot of the channels that I'm friends with here, have just taken to social media to say that this would have sucked, this would have been such a terrible arc to take the character of Sam Carpenter down, and I agree at face value, but I just don't think they would have turned Melissa Barrera into this lemon-scented evil Ghostface. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, does it? Towards the end of the last 2 Scream movies, we saw Sam Carpenter stab the absolute shit out of our Ghostface killers. Richie had it rough getting that knife through his mouth, but his dad probably got it even worse. There was never any sort of setup that Sam wanted to kill innocent people outside of the Ghostfaces who were coming after her. That's where the story likely would have led us in part 7. We learned from Scream 6's opening scene that other people online are following in Richie's footsteps. Who's to say that 7 wouldn't have included more characters just like this? With multiple parties trying to kill Sam in Scream 6, it begs the question of what if one of the groups of Ghostfaces never stopped the others at the beginning? Maybe the rest of Richie's cult tries to get into their lives, but the Carpenter sisters sniff them out first. Maybe Sam gets to one of the groups before they can even get their robes and masks on. The point here being is I think they would have treated both of the Carpenter sisters like these controversial vigilantes. Not so much like a straight up Ghostface killer who's revealed at the end of the movie to be doing all of this. That would suck. That also doesn't make any sense based on what's been set up with these characters in the last 2 movies. I just think this would have been a much more complicated story than what people are making it out to be. I think they were going to swing for the fences in entry number 7, which probably would have been the last movie with the Carpenter sisters. Compare that to some of the other requel trilogies out there. The 3rd entry almost always swings for the fences and does something completely different than what the last 2 movies did. The original Scream 7, whatever the idea was likely going to do something similar. Speaking of the Scream 7 we have now that's upcoming here, we have some new rumors coming from Jude Jarjora saying that Scream 7 nails something new. Sidney is a wife and a real backstory and a real dynamic. Their chemistry hits in a way I didn't expect, but if we're disturbing her happy ending again, should the stakes be high and she loses her husband, or should he make it out? While a lot of this is subjective, of course, I think that Jude is hinting at the idea that Mark may not make it out alive in Scream 7. I'm pretty confident that Joel McHale's Mark is getting stabbed in the neck here during the trailer, and honestly, I'd be pretty shocked if he lives through the film. Not only is this movie giving us a new chapter in the Sidney Prescott story, but it's also introducing us to her daughter, meaning we gotta do something with the story there. Something a lot of sequels like to do with characters who are returning is that they're dealing with the trauma of the previous flick. Nothing's gonna give you trauma more than the killer from the previous movie taking out one of your parents. That ought to get the job done. So I think in order to build up Tatum as a character, we're gonna have to sacrifice her father. The biggest update today regards Matthew Lillard, however, who is one of the few actors currently getting chewed up by Quentin Tarantino. On the Bret Easton Ellis podcast, writer of American Psycho, interestingly enough, Tarantino talked about some of his favorite flicks of the 21st century. He specifically targeted Paul Dano, saying his performance in Paul Thomas Anderson's There Will Be Blood was too weak. He even went on to say that Dano is the weakest actor in SAG. It's almost like that's the point of a lot of the characters that Paul Dano likes to play. Quentin, that's like saying, I just don't like Patrick Starr. He's just too stupid. The point? He also took aim at Matthew Lillard and Owen Wilson, saying he didn't like either of them as actors. Matthew Lillard clapped back by saying, "It hurts. You wouldn't say something like that to Tom Cruise. You wouldn't say that to somebody who's a top-line actor in Hollywood." Now, this is a completely unrelated stat, but it is interesting to note that Matthew Lillard's new flick, Five Nights at Freddy's, has currently pulled in, after its opening weekend, $113 million. This is also including Monday's stats. So, in all fairness, I'll do the same thing for Tarantino's re-release of Kill Bill: The Whole Bloody Affair, which has only pulled in, as of right now, which is Wednesday, $3.7 million. It even has a new scene, new footage, and everything. Just throwing that out there. Totally unrelated fact. While I would be lying to all of you if I said I didn't have an affinity for Pulp Fiction and Inglourious Basterds, and well, a ton of other Tarantino movies, I think the guy is a pretentious film bro who needs to know when to shut his big mouth. His ego and hypocrisy have always been off the charts, and it is worse than ever. Like, dude, are you forgetting about your near movie ruining performance in From Dusk Till Dawn? Or like the whole feet thing? People could write an entire book with how obsessed with feet you are, dude. That's a problem. What kind of actor are you to be able to dish out insults like this? That's crazy. I might like his movies, but the content of his character is repulsive. This is one hero that I never want to meet, where my love for Matthew Lillard has only grown stronger after being able to meet the guy a couple of times now. That's the big difference. Many fellow actors and people in the industry have come to Matthew's defense, posting some really positive things about the guy. He's also considered one of the nicest guys in all of Hollywood, which is pretty cool. But from all of this, we may have gotten a pretty big Scream 7 update. Kevin Williamson, the creator of this franchise, as well as the writer and director of the upcoming film Scream 7, posted on his story a picture of Matthew saying, "Doing a little ADR with this brilliant and amazing actor. Truly one of the best, so impulsive, honest, and alive on screen. I can always trust him to bring so much more to my words. Matt Lillard makes everything better as an actor and a human. It's an honor to work with you." Now, obviously, this post is totally awesome. Hell yeah, Mr. Williamson here. But it did have me a little worried at first that one of my greatest fears regarding Scream 7 was coming true. That would of course be Matthew Lillard and a lot of the other dead characters who are seemingly returning for Scream 7 just being utilized for their voices, maybe as like an AI replication that our ghost faces are using to taunt Sidney and Gale. I think Kevin placed a little clue in that post, however, that confirms that we will be seeing these characters on screen, by specifically saying Matthew is alive on screen. Now, while I hope this is a little Stu clue that Matthew will be on screen back as Stu again, because if he's not, this is total clickbait, and you've just told us that Matthew Lillard's returning as Stu when technically he's not. He's just being utilized for his voice. I hope this isn't a clue to say that he's alive, back from the dead, in the upcoming film on screen. I'm sure many of you will be speculating that, however. I hate when movies essentially clickbait you, so to say, so I would almost rather Stu just be alive than them, you know, just lying to us to get butts and seats. Like, if you're gonna do it, do it. Don't just stick your toe in that pool and pull it right back out when the water's not warm enough for you. I hope that if they do bring back Stu from the dead, they do it with confidence. They try to give a story that's like worthwhile. I'm probably not going to like it no matter what it is, but I would hope that if they do it, they try to do it with some grace, something that's worthwhile for the people who do want to see it. But anyways, today's Scream 7 update was a spicy one. Lots of drama, baby. Wow. How are you guys feeling about these new Scream 7 updates? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you all again for watching. Please subscribe, and as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.